As some of you know, based on the video that I did about the Avengers Infinity War, that I, growing up, was a huge Marvel comic fan. I mean, I was heavy into the Avengers, Captain Marvel, Silver Surfer, Doctor Strange. I mean, you name those characters, the big characters, I was really heavy into them, you know, and it's kind of weird seeing a lot of this take place on the movie screen like this. Like, wow, they making movies out of a lot of this, you know. But here's the thing, you know, I was heavy into it, and it was amazing. Is Captain Marvel was actually one of my favorite out of all the superheroes of the Marvel comics. He was one of my favorites, and his powers were incredible, you know. And he was actually the only one that seemed like he could deal with Thanos, other than Adam Warlord, which he's another one. I may do a video on just tell you about what he's about, you know. Adam Warlord, okay. Actually, Adam Warlock. But the thing that really got me about this particular Captain Marvel is that, did you know that there were more than one Captain Marvel? There were two. Okay. The first Captain Marvel was actually a man. So when I found out they were doing a Captain Marvel and I decided to go and check out the trailer and see what they were doing, I was shocked to find out that they would use Carol Danvers, which is the character of the comic book. I said, well, why are they using her? You know, because the male Captain Marvel, which his name was spelled with V-E-L-L, he was really a big person in the comic books as far as dealing with Thanos. He was always fighting against Thanos, always working with the Avengers. And so when they brought her into the new movies, I was kind of shocked. And I was like, well, why bring her? Because I knew something about her past that was very disturbing. And so I said, well, y'all bringing her into this, to me, it's kind of like if their fans out there knew what this comic character had done in one of the series, in one of the books actually, they wouldn't like her too much, you know, because it was gross, you know. But anyway, just to get into a little history about the Captain Marvel, both the male and the female. Like I said, the original Captain Marvel was a man, okay? And he wasn't really a man as in human man. He was man as in a male. He was actually alien. He was a member of the Kree. The Kree was an alien race. And this was a very advanced alien race, advanced both scientifically and technologically. They were very advanced, and they were very militaristic. They were warlike. And the first male Captain Marvel was like them. He was just like that. And so they actually sent him to Earth to spy out the Earth and to spy on the people. But he later took on the superhero thing and decided, hey, I'm going to protect these humans. They need my help. I'm going to protect them. And so he later eventually joined up with the Avengers to help protect the Earth. And this is where you see these rivals between him and Thanos and with the Avengers. As a matter of fact, there was one particular comic book that was one of my favorite. I have it. It's the one where Thanos actually sends the Controller. And this guy, the Controller, deals with the mind. And he's very big and strong, just like Thanos. He may be bigger than Thanos. And you know what's funny? I was surprised that they didn't bring him into the Avengers series, because I thought it would have been great to send him first to fight against the Avengers, and then Thanos come later, you know. But I thought it was kind of strange how they wrote that in there, because actually this guy, the Controller, showed up first, and he literally defeated all the Avengers. I mean, they were just laid all out, like he just totally took them out. And if you look at this one comic book cover, you can see Thanos, a shadow of Thanos in the background, all the Avengers laid out, and who do you see standing there like this? Captain Marvel. Because that was what it was about back then. You know, Captain Marvel was always fighting with the Avengers, fighting these villains, especially Thanos. And so I was shocked, especially when you Captain Marvel, he ended up, after so many years of fighting, he ended up dying of cancer. You know, he got cancer, he ended up dying of it. And I was kind of shocked that they were bringing in the female Captain Marvel who came after him. Okay? I was shocked that they would bring her into it, because I'm like, well, who is she? You know? And some people think that she was the greatest of the two. But no, I beg to differ. I think Captain Marvel, the male Captain Marvel, was much greater than her in all the things that he did. But listen to this, right? But Carol Danvers, he's 100% Kree. She is basically a mixed Kree. She's a hybrid being, partly human and partly Kree. Okay? And the Kree, I would kind of reckon them to be like, if I were to say in the scriptures, they would be more like the principalities in high places with all this power and stuff, always battling. That's what this Kree race would be like. And she's like partly human and partly alien. Interesting, huh? Now watch this. Okay? So with her being partly with this human side of her, she did some crazy things in some of her comics, right? And one particular comic I want to talk about, they actually labeled it as the worst comic, one of the worst comics ever published, and that's Avengers number 200. And it reveals a very dark secret about her. And so that's why I was shocked that they would choose her instead of Captain Marvel, Mr. Captain Marvel. Okay, but anyway, let's talk about this Avengers number 200 comic. The comic shows how Miss Captain Marvel becomes pregnant in some weird way. Almost like she just wakes up and she's pregnant. And she's like, what? Right? Now, she don't carry this child 9 months. She carries this child in only a few days and gives birth to this child, right? And within days, this child quickly grows up to be a grown man named Marcus. Okay? And guess what? Her son, her child, Marcus, falls in love with Carol, Miss Captain Marvel, his mother. Marcus then later reveals that he's the son of a villain named Immortus. And of course, this Immortus fella is immortal. He's immortal, right? He's another one of these gods in space, or these superheroes in space, because that's what all these superheroes really are. They're really just false gods. You know, they take these false gods and they turn them into superheroes. And like we said in the Avengers Infinity War video that I did, you can see strong resemblance in a lot of these false gods with the superheroes. I mean, some will have the same type of makeup, same look, same outfits, literally, you know? And so when you look at this, it's like, man, look at all these false gods. These are actually superheroes. That's what they're trying to push in the movies, especially with the Marvel comic movies. It's just another way to try to get you to worship false gods again. These are your superheroes. Worship them. Here's Captain America. Here's all of these superheroes, Scarlet Witch and Vision and all these here. Worship them. Which one is your favorite guy? That's why they got these little dials, right? The kid get their little dial. They're walking around with their Vision or their Captain America or their Thor dial. It's really not a dial. It's an idol. That's really what they're trying to push It's just more worshiping of false idols, which is totally against the commandment, totally against the 10 commandments. Doesn't one of them say, thou shalt not have no other God, right? Not only does it say that, it says no graven image. So when you look at your little superheroes, Superman and Thor and Captain America and Captain Marvel, these little superheroes, they're what? Idols. They're graven images. That's exactly what they are, right? So anyway, back to the story. So this thing is really crazy because what this Immortus villain does, he traps Carol into some type of another dimension, like another world. And guess what it's called? Limbo. He traps her in limbo. You ever make the statement, man, I feel like I'm stuck in limbo? That's a world in the comics, right? And she was stuck in limbo, in this place called Limbo, and that's when he impregnated her. Okay? And so she falls in love with her son. Don't that sound horrible? Don't that just sound nasty? She falls in love with her son falls in love with his mother. Dude, you saw her, she gave birth to you. You grew up quickly and realized this was your mother. And you fall in love with her. You know, it's horrible. Look at this image. Ooh, that's gross. But anyway, she then becomes a drunkard, of course, because of her trauma, and starts to lose her memory and her powers. So she's the one that's going to save the world, right? She's the one that's going to save the world from what Thanos has done. She's going to come and make things right. This woman that's very gross, okay, who has a problem. She's a drunkard. She lost her memory and her powers, but she's going to save everybody. What's funny is then, in an attempt to rediscover herself, guess who she joins up with? The Guardian of the Galaxies. Yep. And as you see here she is in the arms of Quail. Remember Quail? Crazy, huh? This story kind of reminds me of a scripture because of how gross it is. This scripture is pretty gross too. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 5, and I'm going to read verse 1 through 5. This is how it reads. It is reported commonly that there is fornication among you. Such fornication as is not so much as named among the Gentiles, that one should have his father's wife. And ye are puffed up, and have not rather mourned that he that hath done this deed might be taken away from among you. For I verily, as absent in body, but present in spirit, have judged this thing already, as though I was present with you, concerning him that have so done this deed. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, when ye are gathered together, and my spirit be with you, with the power of our Yahushua HaMashiach, to deliver such a man, such a one, unto Satan for the destruction of the flesh. Paul basically said, because this man is too filthy in his flesh to have his father's wife, so she was probably a stepmother, he said, get this man away from me. He's too filthy to be among y'all. There's not even people among the Gentiles doing this kind of thing. Get this man away from y'all. He is too filthy. Y'all should have mourned about this thing, but really y'all seem like you're puffed up about it. You like seeing this? This is wickedness in front of you. And he said y'all should have put this man away from you. But I'm going to tell you, with me with you, I'm telling you what to do. He said, deliver this man unto Satan that have done this wicked thing. Marvel Comics what they're doing here is pushing this Miss Captain Marvel as the savior of the Avengers in the world is crazy. Miss Captain Marvel had a deeply disturbing relationship with her own son that she gave birth to. This is nasty. It's hard to even think about something like this. It's nasty. And this is why the Avengers number 200 was considered one of the worst comic issues ever published. This is the hidden secret behind Captain Marvel, Miss Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers.